Chapter 12. The Trap of Fate. Marcus sighed, feigning exasperation, though his mind churned with unease. The mention of Rowena Zale had stirred a dormant memory, a whisper of betrayal tied to the Vale's ruin. He masked his tension with a lopsided grin. "Grab my dress from the closet," Eliza said, brushing past his pout, her voice carrying the brisk confidence of Ravencross' rising star. "There's a big banquet tonight." Marcus headed to the closet, his steps heavier than he let on. "Which one, darling?" he asked, sliding the door open, his fingers grazing silk and satin. "The white one, V-neck." "No way. Too revealing for a public event." "This one's better." He pulled out a sleek, high-neck black dress, its fabric shimmering faintly like polished obsidian, and handed it to her. "Oh, what's the banquet about?" "Rowena Zale is hosting an auction at the Zales Villa. It's a high-profile event. Lots of influential people. I'm going to network and boost Eternality's reach." Eliza's eyes gleamed with ambition, but Marcus caught a flicker of unease beneath her poise. The Zales' name carried weight, even in their decline. Marcus froze briefly at the mention of Rowena, the name slicing through a decade of buried pain. Starlit blossoms by the ravine. The painting his grandfather died protecting was tied to the Zale schemes. He recovered quickly, forcing a casual tone. "Want a ride?" "I'll take a cab." "All right then." Eliza slipped into the dress, its elegance accentuating her commanding presence, and left without another word. Marcus lingered, staring at the empty doorway. The Zales auction wasn't just a social event. It was a stage for vengeance. He muttered a vague excuse to the Rowans' household staff and slipped out, his leather jacket blending into Ravencross neon-lit shadows. The Zales' last remaining villa stood on a hill overlooking the city, its marble facade a fading echo of their former glory. Their other assets, sprawling estates, thriving businesses, had been liquidated, leaving only this relic of their empire. Inside, the family convened in a dimly lit chamber, its walls adorned with portraits of stern-faced ancestors. At the head of the room sat a man in a crisp military uniform. Silas Zale, Warren Zale's fourth son, his medals glinting like accusations. Silas, a soldier stationed on the western border, had been on duty when his father died, unable to return in time. When he finally reached Ravencross, the Zales were in ruins. A cryptic clue had pointed to a survivor of the Vales, annihilated a decade ago in a blaze that consumed their villa. Desperate for answers, Silas had traveled to the capital overnight, seeking the powerful figure who ordered the Vales, destruction, and the seizure of starlit blossoms by the ravine. The figure, cloaked in shadow, revealed little, except that Eliza Rowan's disfigurement, now miraculously healed, stemmed from burns she suffered saving someone from that fire. Who, Silas didn't know, but the capital's inquiry into Eliza's actions was ongoing. Now, back in Ravencross, Silas faced his family's bankruptcy, with Eliza Rowan at the heart of their downfall. A striking woman with flawless skin sat beside him. Rowena Zale, her beauty as sharp as her ambition. "Silas, we don't know who killed Father, but Eliza Rowan bankrupted us. Joel said Alex Yates destroyed us because of her call." Rowena's voice cut like a blade, her eyes burning with resentment. Silas' fists clenched, his knuckles whitening against the polished table. "No one crosses the Zales and walks away, not even Yates," he growled, his voice low and dangerous. "Tonight, the Rowans will fall. We'll use the painting to trap her. Starlit blossoms is our bait." The auction banquet unfolded at Ravencross Hotel, a glittering fortress of crystal chandeliers and velvet drapes. Luxury cars lined the streets, their polished hoods reflecting the city's electric pulse. Prominent figures, merchants, politicians, and generals, filled the venue, drawn by the Zales, fading prestige and Silas. Return as a decorated deputy commander under the Blythe King. Two men in dark coats approached the hotel, their steps silent on the cobblestone path. Henry hesitated, his gaze flicking to the soldiers guarding the entrance, their rifles gleaming under the floodlights. Marcus, those are Western border troops. Silas sails back. He's close to the Blythe King, high-ranking too. The Blythe King? Marcus scoffed, his voice dripping with disdain. If he showed up tonight and crossed me, I'd have him on his knees. His words carried a quiet menace, hinting at the power he kept hidden. The 5 commanders ruled the kingdom, the Iron Serpent of the Sable Marches, the Centurion of the North, the Blythe King of the West, the Barbarian King of the East, and the Emperor of the Capital. The Emperor held political sway, but the Iron Serpent. Asclepius, the master healer who could defy death itself, wielded raw, unmatched power. Marcus passed as the Iron Serpent was a secret buried deep, but tonight it stirred dangerously close to the surface. A commotion erupted near the hotel's grand hall, drawing a crowd. What's happening? A man in a military uniform barked, his voice cutting through the murmurs. Why the shouting? Have you forgotten how to behave around guests? Sir, we were moving starlit blossoms by the ravine when Eliza Rowan knocked it over. It's ruined, a subordinate reported, his voice trembling. Silas knelt, inspecting a jagged gash across the painting's canvas, the delicate blossoms torn as if by fate itself. Starlit blossoms by the ravine. Destroyed. This was worth $1.8 billion. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with calculated fury. It wasn't me. Eliza protested, her voice cracking as she retreated, her scarlet heels unsteady on the polished floor. The price was staggering, beyond the Rowans' means, even if they sold every asset. Her chest tightened, the weight of the accusation suffocating. She'd worked tirelessly to rebuild her family, only to face ruin in a single moment. Silas rose, his gaze cold as steel. I don't accuse without proof. The hotel has cameras. We'll check the footage. Bring it. Minutes later, the footage arrived, projected onto a massive screen for all to see. The grainy video showed workers carrying the painting past Eliza, one stumbling after she brushed against him, the canvas crashing to the floor. The crowd gasped, whispers rippling through the room. Silas fixed her with an icy stare. $1.8 billion, Eliza Rowan. He turned to his men. Take her. Send someone to the Rowans for the money. If they can't pay, bring them here. Tears welled in Eliza's eyes, her composure crumbling as soldiers approached, their boots echoing like a death knell. It wasn't me, General Zale. I didn't do it. I didn't knock it over. Her voice rose, desperate, but the soldiers' faces remained impassive. The crowd grew, their murmurs a chorus of judgment. What a shame. The Rowans were just rising, one whispered. 1.8 billion? They're finished, another said, shaking their head. Eliza's bad luck, I suppose, a third murmured, their tone laced with pity. Eliza's face paled, her breath shallow as she stumbled back, the soldiers' dark gun barrels looming closer. The trap had snapped shut, and she was its prey. Starlit Blossoms wasn't just a painting. It was a weapon, wielded to crush her family's ascent. Her mind raced, grasping for a way out, but the soldiers seized her arms, their grip unyielding. To the back room, Silas ordered, his voice a blade slicing through the chaos. Eliza struggled, her heels scraping the floor as they dragged her away, her cries drowned by the crowd's indifference. Some watched with shock, others with amusement, the drama unfolding like a twisted performance. The Zales had orchestrated her downfall with chilling precision, and Starlit Blossoms, the painting Marcus revered, was the centerpiece of their revenge. Rowena Zale stepped forward, her smile radiant but cold, and announced the auction's start. as if Eliza's ruin was merely a prelude to the evening's festivities.